Can you love someone you always saw as an enemy? And even marry that person? Can love end hate, people? Well, that's what we're going to discover in this story, with a breathtaking ending. In a big city where two technology companies are always at war, Clark Tech and Taylor Innovations fight for market dominance. The rivalry between them is as old as the first computers, and neither wants to lose ground. Emma Clark, the young CEO of Clark Tech, is famous for her beauty and intelligence, but also for her determination to protect the family company. On the other side, there is Dylan, the heir to Taylor Innovations, who since childhood learned to see the Clarks as enemies. Against a backdrop of tall buildings, business meetings and technological innovations, can love emerge between two rival leaders? But life is a box of surprises, isn't it? Emma and Dylan grew up learning to hate each other. But after many years of not seeing each other, everything was about to change. Dylan's family sent him to study at a large university in Madrid, so they had no further contact. On a very sunny afternoon, Emma was taking a walk around the city, enjoying the beautiful weather and looking at the shops. She felt that someone was looking at her, and when she turned to see who it was, she didn't recognize him right away, so she didn't pay much attention and continued walking. He soon followed her and said, Hey, Emma. How long has it been?" He cheered up. Emma was a little surprised. She remembered who she was. Dylan. "Is that you? What are you doing here?" He smiled. I decided to return home after finishing my studies. After all, someone needs to take care of the family business, right? He explained. Emma agreed. "Your lot has changed since you left," she commented. Dylan nodded, looking a little wistful. Yes, it really has changed. But some things remain the same, he said, looking at Emma with a sincere smile. They looked at each other for a moment, as the sun shone on the street, remembering how the rivalry between their families used to be. Now, Dylan was a tall and very attractive man, who no longer saw any reason to maintain hatred between the families. When Emma passed by him without recognizing him, he was surprised and thought, "Is that Emma Clark? How did that ugly girl become such a beautiful woman?" The memory of the rivalry between the families arose, but soon disappeared, giving way to a new feeling, passion at first sight. Dylan couldn't take his eyes off Emma as she walked around carefree. He knew that her family had lost a lot of money and was almost bankrupt. So Dylan thought quickly and had an idea. What if I married Emma? She could end the fight between the families and he would still be by her side. When the marriage proposal reached Emma's family, she was in shock. She couldn't believe it. Marrying Dylan, someone she had grown to hate, seemed impossible. But the family's situation was desperate. Then, Emma began to consider the proposal. The news seemed to have the weight of a giant computer file. Emma knew that this proposal could be the key to solving her family's financial problems, which were facing difficulties. In the Clarks' living room, discussions became heated. Her father, worried about the bills that kept coming in, saw the proposal as a possible solution. Her mother, on the other hand, was desperate, fearing for Emma's well-being and happiness. Emma spent days thinking about everything, torn between duty and fear. She felt like a fish out of water. The idea of marrying Dylan, the man who symbolized everything she had learned to hate, made her uncomfortable. After many sleepless nights and thinking about the idea, Emma made a decision. She would agree to marry Dylan, her enemy. She would do it like a true Clark, with her head held high and her heart closed, ready for whatever came next. When Emma and Dylan first met, she was surprised to see how much he had changed. Dylan was no longer the boy she remembered. Now, he was a different man, and that only made everything more complicated. He was no longer that puny boy Emma fought with when they were children. Now, Dylan was a confident and extremely attractive man, which made her uneasy. Hello, Emma. How are you?" Dylan said, with a seductive smile. Well," replied Emma, without looking at him, trying to hide her nervousness. Dylan was undeterred and continued, "Should we need to set our wedding date? I think 2 weeks from now would be perfect." Emma widened her eyes and looked at him seriously, asking, What do you expect from this absurd marriage? I don't understand your proposal. We've hated each other since we were children. And now we're going to get married? Are you crazy? Proposing this to my parents when they're desperate for money? Did you know they couldn't refuse? Dylan looked at her intensely and, in a soft, firm voice, said, I know we've been enemies for a long time, but I'm not that boy anymore. You've become a stunning woman, and I want you. I'm madly in love with you. Emma, I want you more than anything in my life. I know you don't love me now, but I believe that with time that will change. Surrender to me. Dylan's words were so intense that Emma was left without reaction. In her head, the questions were like thunder on a stormy day. After declaring himself, Dylan stood up, took her hand and kissed her softly, looking deeply into her eyes. At that moment, Emma saw the gleam of desire in his eyes. Everything that happened in that meeting was so unexpected that Emma couldn't say anything else. The wedding was an event that caused great excitement in the city. Everyone wanted to see this unexpected wedding. Two rival families uniting through the marriage of their children. Emma, still full of resentment for the enemy, was now in their home, married to one of them, and worse, now bore the tailor's name. Upon arriving in the room prepared for the couple, she ripped off her wedding dress and began to cry. She felt betrayed by her parents, who accepted that agreement. She felt like an object sold to satisfy a tailor's hunger and desire. Dylan entered the room while she was still crying, lying on the bed. He walked over, gently lifted her and caressed her face before giving her a soft kiss. At that moment, Emma felt a turmoil in her stomach. Dylan realized that she didn't respond to his affections and said, I won't do anything without your consent, Emma. I'll sleep in my old room until you really want me. With an intense look, he walked away, leaving her with a mixture of relief and confusion. Emma couldn't stop thinking about Dylan's unexpected kindness and the feeling his touch made her feel. A month had already passed since Emma and Dylan's wedding, but she still hadn't invited him to share the matrimonial bed. During this time, she realized how amazing he was, always going out of his way to make her happy. Love for him was beginning to blossom in her heart, but Emma resisted her desires, afraid of appearing vulnerable. One day, Mia, a distant cousin, came to spend a week at the house, saying that she wanted to visit her aunt, Dylan's mother. She always had a crush on her cousin and wanted to make sure his marriage wasn't going well because she still believed she could have a chance with him. Mia, with disdain for Emma, commented, I don't understand what my cousin sees in this sham wedding. You two aren't even together. These words left Emma intrigued, realizing that Mia was there with the intention of getting Dylan's attention. Guys, when a woman feels like she might lose something important, she might do unexpected things. Emma, who was already starting to fall in love with Dylan, realized that she didn't want to lose his love, attention and affection to Mia. So, she decided to invest in winning over her husband. When night came, Emma went to the office where her husband was. Mia was there too. With her cousin present, Emma hesitated as to whether she would go ahead with her idea, but she soon gained courage and said, Dylan, tonight I would like you to come to our room and I need to talk to you. After finishing speaking, she gave her husband a seductive look and quickly left. Mia was silently irritated. One woman understands another, and Mia knew that that attitude was a response to the teasing she had done to Emma earlier. She quickly tried to plant some discord between Emma and Dylan, but he barely heard what she had to say. From then on, he was excited for the night to begin. After a few minutes, he knocked on the bedroom door. Emma appeared all beautiful, with a very beautiful and seductive nightgown. He was speechless when he saw his beautiful wife standing there. But he didn't need to say anything. She just hugged him and kissed him, saying softly, I give myself into your arms, because I no longer have the strength to resist the two of us. Outside, the stars were shining and the moon seemed to smile, knowing that things were now peaceful between the families. Except with Mia. But Mia's story will still give people something to talk about. Sometimes love can emerge where we least expect it and can overcome even the oldest rivalries. It's important not to let pride and the past get in the way of happiness in the present. Furthermore, it is essential to recognize our own desires and not be afraid to express them, even if it means defying conventions or expectations. In the end, true love can unite even the most distant hearts. Do you want to know more about engaging and romantic stories? Then be sure to subscribe to our channel so you don't miss any content. Here, you will find exciting adventures, forbidden loves, and surprising twists. Subscribe now and be part of this journey of emotions. Thanks for watching.